Hey everyone, welcome to the Master Your Mind series. I'm your host, Angela Rankin, and I have created this series because I couldn't seem to get past the fear and procrastination and doubt that was holding me back. So I wanted to bring to you guys the how to do that because I kept researching and no one was really giving me that how. So today, I have an amazing speaker for you. I am so excited to introduce Hannah Alyward. She is a certified health coach, and she is here to give us some information about how the gut and our health actually relates to our mind and our production throughout the day. So, Hannah, welcome. I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello. I'm so pumped to be here.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's totally just geek out first and tell me a little bit about the gut is being called the second brain, right? Mm-hmm. So tell me what that is exactly about, because I think that's so important for the viewers to get the gut and the mind and how they're kind of working.
Totally. Yes. So the gut is monumentally important for so many reasons. And I will say before we jump into that, like a lot of people think gut and they think digestion, and digestion is a huge piece of the puzzle, but it is not just about digestion. The gut affects our skin, our energy levels, brain fog, anxiety, depression, cardiovascular disease, all of it. And some of those things being anxiety, depression, brain fog, right? So right there, we see that gut-brain connection. So you're totally spot on. The gut is being called the second brain right now. And it's actually, so to kind of explain the connection a little bit, we've got something called the vagus nerve, and it's actually a pair of nerves, and it attaches right here at the top, and it goes all the way down through our abdomen. And something to kind of, have you understand this feeling is and how it relates is like, think about getting butterflies in your tummy, right? You're really nervous or you're really excited, and that's something that you perceive here with your brain and your mind, and then you feel it actually physically in your stomach, right? Your stomach will turn, or maybe you'll like have to run to the bathroom, or you'll like feel very nauseous, something like that. So that right there explains that like heavy gut-brain connection. But one of the coolest things about it is that there are more messages sent from the gut to the brain than from the brain to the gut. There's like 400 messages, and they're in constant communication via this bidirectional pathway. So they're going up and down, constantly communicating throughout the day. So, when we talk about gut health, if we're trying to master our mindset and master our minds, like the gut is in a critically important piece of this puzzle, because one thing, that you can have going on in the gut is called leaky gut. Right. And it's really just when we've got our gut has a lining, and it's a single cell layer thick, and it's like super thin, like thinner than our fingernail. And day after day, if we're like adding in all of these things, like the sugar and the caffeine and the stress and the dairy and the gluten and the processed foods and the no sleep, or things like trauma, things like hating ourselves inside, like these other things will start to affect it as well. And that's gonna pull apart the gut lining. That it has tight junctions. It's supposed to look like this, but then they'll start to form out like this, and things will start to flow on through that aren't supposed to. Undigested proteins, toxins, particles, things like that, they'll enter the bloodstream, and that's going to trigger like systemic inflammation really bad. But I bring that up because when we say leaky gut, the thing is like if you're dealing with a leaky gut, you've got a leaky brain then too, because that connection is so spot on. Right.
And then you really can't, like if we have brain fog, what exactly is that? It's like not being able, just feeling tired and yucky. What is brain fog? What is that?
Yeah, it's inflammation. It's inflammation. And the thing is like, since the gut is such a huge part of the puzzle, because it is the second brain. So that's triggering that inflammation because it's directly connected, right? But also because the gut houses over 70% of the immune system. So if it's really inflamed and it's out of whack and it's like calling your name, like, hello, help me, you're not treating me correctly, then that's going to trigger an immune response, right? That immune system resides in there. And if we can't fight things with our strong immune system, then we're susceptible to everything. And brain fog is really just those thoughts, right? You're like, oh, I feel icky. I feel kind of stuck. And what I talk about a lot is like, clearing the clutter. That's a term that I use a lot with my people, is that once we start to nourish our gut and really take care of ourselves, like in a deep level, we just kind of like clear the clutter and clear the chaos and the fog that's been just like holding us down. And we're able to step into this like next version of ourselves, which is just amazing.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about, is unleashing your superstar self. Yeah. And I think that is like, so many people are trying to do that, get into their authenticity, get into their superstar self. And one thing that I think the piece is missing, you know, it's the mindset and all that, but really how important what you put into your body, the foods that you put into your body, how important they are to help you with that energy production and feeling good, you know?
Absolutely. Because I mean, oh my gosh, I could take this so many different ways, but if we just break it down to like a very easy level of understanding, we eat every single day, and we eat multiple times a day, and we eat to survive, right? Like this isn't something we can run away from. This is something that's constant in our lives. And if you think that that's not going to actually affect your health, the food that you're literally putting into your body, physically putting into your body, it's creating your cells, right? Your cells, these things are built of amino acids and things like that. Like the food that we eat literally becomes the physical form in a sense. So, I mean, it's incredibly important. And I say that gently as well, because like food is more as well. Food is also community and gathering and love. And it doesn't have to be this like strict, like I only eat to nourish my body through and through, you know, like there's a balance, right? There's a balance of both.
Yeah. And you know what? That is exactly what I was going to ask next, is because some of those limiting beliefs around food and kind of how to break through, like, okay, my favorite one is, you know, eating healthy is so hard or too complicated or, you know, overly. So how do you keep it just super simple? And I love that bringing in the balance too, like giving yourself that room to have fun. And it is community. Like, you know, if you want to go have a glass of wine with your girlfriends, you know, totally. I love that. But how do you just keep it simple and get rid of all that junk that's going on?
Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, so many different ways to approach it. I think it really starts with shifting your belief on it. Exactly what you said. Right. Yes. And realizing that, you know, these stories that we've told ourselves and these stories that we've heard and just accepted as a part of who we are, accepted as this is how it's got to be. These are just made up, right? Yep. There are lots of people out there that are living healthy lives, eating healthy food, that don't even think about it. I am one of those people. And I don't say that to like annoy anyone.
No,
yeah. And I can tell you that it wasn't always that way. I mean, there was a journey involved in this. There was every diet in the book. There was like tons and hundreds and thousands of hours of research. There was restricting, there was binging, there was all of those things of just trying to sort through. I mean, the human experience of just like trying to sort through it, you know?
Right.
Like, oh goodness gracious.
Oh my gosh.
But now I can honestly say like, this is just a part of who I am. So it's not there. It is possible. First and foremost, it's possible to believe that like, this can be easy and this can be really fun. And something that I say to my clients a lot is let this feel good. Like, let this feel like something that feels really juicy and nourishing and yummy, that you are like stepping into your highest self, that you're up leveling the highest version of yourself, and you're taking care of yourself because you know your worth and you know that you deserve it and you know that you are worthy of love. And that starts with really nourishing yourself so then you can nourish others, you know. And it's shifting the narrative, like shifting it from this is going to take a lot of time. This is going to cost a lot of money. This is so annoying. Oh, this is boring. I don't get to have any of my favorites. Like if you think that way, it's not going to work. That's how you're going to feel about all of it then. So if we flip the script here and say, you know, like, yes. Like this can be fun. Why can't I allow this to be like really exploratory and like I get to learn new things and I get to like feel amazing and have more energy and sleep better and like love deeper and you know, create more. It's like, it's all perspective, right? So it's just like choosing how you get to see it.
Yeah, it is perspective. And, you know, keeping it simple, like how I love the idea of starting small, you know? So tell me how you do that with your clients, because it's all about those just adding in here or, you know, adding in. And I love how you say that.
Yes. I talk a lot about this. So the concept of like crowding out and by crowding out the bad stuff by just simply adding in more good stuff, right? And this is something I just spoke to my people about yesterday, was like, you know, especially when it comes like Monday or something and we've had a weekend, we're kind of like, oh, our brains go to, if we've been through the diet roller coaster craziness before, which many of us have, right? All of us. Then it hits Monday and we're like, oh my gosh, we like had the beer, or we had the wine, or we had the pizza, or we like vegged out on the couch and watched the new Netflix series or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And it's like guilt, shame, restriction, all these things come up. And I'm like, no, let's quiet that.
Yes.
And because that's not coming from a place of love, right? That's coming from a place of pulling back. And anything that doesn't stem from love does not last.
Yes.
So we wanted to stem from love. And where can we, instead of restrict, just add in? Instead of taking all these things away and saying, oh, I'm going to go no carb, or I'm going to go this, or I'm going to go that. Like, why don't we then just say, oh, you know what? I'm going to add in this really nourishing yoga class today. Or I'm going to add in, you know, an extra cup of green tea. Or I'm going to add in my like really nourishing smoothie in the morning to make sure that I start my day on the right foot. You know, it's, where can we just flip the script? And I know something that we've talked about before too is like, if you're just starting out here, there is no need to go from like 0 to 100 overnight. That's not how it works. Yeah. And that's not sustainable, you know? And that approach can work. I'll rephrase that. It can work for some people, like the rare person that just like really wants to overhaul or really, really like has to. And I say like, do your thing and have at it and like rock on. If that's sustainable for you, kill it. But like a lot of people, it starts with these simple changes day after day after day. Like I always say I wasn't born a health coach. I wasn't born eating this like vibrant gut healthy diet that like, you know, I was eating Slim Jims and drinking Slurpee and eating Reese's and like, you know, peanut butter cups. It was not always this way. So it was small change after small change after, you know, and it was kind of figuring out also what worked for me and what I found sustainable. So it's, you know, if you are right now if you're eating out, you know, 7 days a week, try doing it 5.
Yes.
Start there, right? If you are eating, you know, your muffin in the morning, like maybe add a hard-boiled egg, or maybe swap it for like an egg and some avocado, or maybe try a smoothie or something. Like try swapping one thing out. If you're getting the side of fries with your entree, swap it for the steamed spinach, or swap it for the side salad, you know. And these little tips and tricks they'll add up over time, these little differences, you know.
Right.
And one thing I love starting my clients on is my morning power smoothie, just because it's one thing to change in your day and it sets your entire day up for success. And it's like very strategically formulated. And I've got tons of delicious recipes that have these 4 essential ingredients that we want to have in there to make sure that we are like satiated for hours, energized. It helps our gut microbiome. It like breeds all the good bacteria. It gives us glowing skin, all of those good things. And instead of being like, you have to eat this way, blah, 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 every single day, just for this week, swap your breakfast. That's it. Start there, you know, and it generates momentum, right? Because you feel it and you're like, oh, I feel good. This feels good. As opposed to like, I don't even know what I can eat or what I'm doing. And you're just like pulling in the reins. Instead, just like swapping one thing and being like, oh, let's see what happens when I do this.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, I love that so much because I know that I have started implementing that in my life. Just adding in or swapping. I love that word swapping, you know, certain things. And my energy level has gone really through the roof. And that has helped me so much. I know for myself with transformation and really pushing past these limitations and working through trauma, it takes energy.
Totally.
It takes energy. And the food has been the one thing that really has helped me so much. And that has been a huge key. But a lot of times, you know, I think it's a whole rounded piece where people may forget that the food is so important. Everyone wants to, you know, manifest and live this abundant life, but also, you know, feeling good and having that energy that it takes to go over the top. you know?
Absolutely. And, food it's one of our biggest healing tools, truly.
Oh,
And going back to the fact that like we put it in our body day after day after day, multiple times a day. So if this isn't aligning with us, if these foods aren't supportive, it's going to wear on us. Right. And we'll get lucky if it doesn't breed like big time disease down the line. But these really, really do deeply affect us, and in regards to like mental clarity and being able to tap into your intuition and being
yes.
able to, feel creative and abundant and like vibrant and confident.
Yes.
This is key, and because certain foods are really grounding. And also when you're like living in this like blood sugar roller coaster where you're waking up and you're having your coffee and your muffin because you're on the go and you grab it at Starbucks or whatever, and then your blood sugar spikes really high and then it dips really low. And when it dips really low, you're feeling kind of irritable and anxious and you're super hangry and you're like dipping into your coworker's desk for the M&Ms. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm just like, your body's like sugar. I need sugar because I need to keep going and I'm crashing. Right.
Right.
And that doesn't also make like us, hitting our like body goals easy either. Right. Like the body's not on our side at that point. It's working against us.
Right.
So we can like get it on our side because it wants us to feel good. We just have to set the right conditions. So instead of starting the day with that, like, my gosh, your body's all the way over here. And then also in that way, you're showing up to lunch and you're not even like in your body. You're like, I don't know, I'll take whatever. I'm so hungry at this point. Like I give in. Or the bread basket comes and you're like eating the entire bread basket because you're like starving. Right? Like,
I've done that.
we've all done that. I mean, I've definitely done that. I think it was just the other day where I was sitting there and I was like, oh my gosh, I waited way too long. Like I'm about to eat anything at this point. Like, do you guys have any olives? Can I get anything? Like I'm so hungry. And it's because I just like didn't set myself up properly,
Right.
But we can avoid that and instead help keep that blood sugar curve. Like instead of these huge valleys and peaks, they're more of like small little waves. And with that comes like much more grounded energy, much more satiety. So we're actually like, we're not like, oh my gosh, when is this meeting over? When am I going to get off this call? You're like in it. You're like focused. Right. You're focused and fearless and killing it. Yeah. And I mean, that helps with all of this.
Right. I mean, it's all part of the plan together, but it is, it's so hard to see sometimes through that brain fog. Yes. And this is so key, and I love how you talk about food as healing because that really resonates with me, because I think so many people are on that level, like, just healing for whatever issues that we have.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are looking to food, but I'm looking at it as mind, body, spirit all together,
Totally.
And that's really how you can break into your most amazing self, And so I love that as food is healing. And I think you said something as food is medicine too. And
yeah.
And it's just these simple mind shifts.
Totally.
And so,
yeah.
Go ahead.
It's so powerful and it will have, especially when it comes to like the gut microbiome. Yeah. And I say this gently because I'm really not a fan of like the flat belly in 5 minutes, crazes and fads. Like that's not my jam. It doesn't work. It's unsustainable. It's like totally, we've all tried it and we're like, what? And that didn't work. And so I say this gently, but the gut microbiome really does, like the bacteria actually starts to shift in your favor in as little as 48 to 72 hours. So the results that you can feel, it feels like a full deep body sigh. Your body is like, the inflammation is so high and then you just like let it go down. Your body's like, girlfriend, I've been trying to get your attention for a while now. I gave you the brain fog. I gave you the rash. I gave you, bloating. I'm like, hello, pay attention to me over here.
Yes.
And you just quiet it down, and the clarity and connection to your purpose and the alignment that you can get from that. It's like, I couldn't do the work that I do if I didn't nourish myself like this.
Oh my gosh. I love it. You just, that was like that was the moment because I love it. I mean, I can't even put it any better than that. That was so amazing. So, this is perfect to talk about what you are gifting the viewers. So tell us about that.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I have developed my 3-day gut reset. And going back to what I just said, the fact that the gut microbiome gets to start to shift in our favor in as little as 48 to 72 hours, which is amazing.
Yes.
So I took that science and was like, okay, let's make this 3-day gut reset. And it's full of recipes for every single day. And I give you a few options there too, because I'm a big advocate for like choosing what you want, and not necessarily following this meal plan or eating these meals that are delivered or something that like you don't even like, or they contain ingredients that you don't like, right? Or you're following this meal plan and you feel like a slave to the meal plan. To me, it feels very restrictive, and it feels unsustainable, because when you go out to eat or when you go do something else or when you travel, like you're not equipped with the tools, and you don't have a meal plan, and you don't have, so it feels like a temporary fix for me. So I like to empower people with the education and like general outlines for them to kind of work within for the purposes. It just is like, feels better. It feels less like diet-y, and it feels more like life.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And that's what lasts. But with this 3-day gut reset, I give you guys a few options for that reason, but I do give you like a general outline to follow. So it's just more clear and focused for the 3 days. But you have a few different smoothie options. You've got 2 different lunch options and things like that. And I also really like to incorporate things other than just the food, right? So I remind you to like, drink more water, get some sunshine, go for a little walk, move your body, journal, right? And because another thing that can come up for us when we strip away some of these toxic foods are like all of these emotions, and we could feel like sad or depressed or anxious, or we don't have these things that we usually latch onto, right? Like for me, even, this is my 4th day without coffee. I don't drink a ton of coffee, but it is part of my life. And I've found myself like earlier today, I was like, man, I would grip for that coffee right now. Usually I'd lean on that coffee, and I took it out to give myself a little break. And it's just funny because like, it still comes up for me. I'm not perfect,
Right.
And when when I take these things out, I'm like, oh, but you'll notice that you lean on things like sugar or carbohydrates or that glass of wine every night to numb or to just like cover up emotions or things like that. So it's really nice and important to also like journal through this, to meditate, to give yourself, to really gain some awareness and bring awareness to this process as well. So I like to kind of talk about that, because that's also what's going to help you hit next level of like alignment and like mastering your own superpower,
Yep. It's just awareness. And that is, as soon as you're aware of it, it's like, there it goes. You're like, whoa. Oh, it's so incredible. So, well, I am so excited for everyone to grab your 3-day gut reset, because it is seriously amazing. And I did it myself. And I mean, I noticed exactly what you're saying, like how I just took a break from a few things and I really noticed what I lean on, and that brought me the awareness. And I was like, ooh, not only that, but I really noticed my energy levels go sky high, and the my gut, I mean, I literally could feel it like hurting at times. And it was like almost like in a good way, kind of like it was getting rid of that yucky stuff. And I was like, wow. And now it feels so much better.
Oh, good.
Good.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. A lot of people have like, they've been struggling with constipation for a while, and like one day in, they're like, oh my gosh, I've been relieved. And the bloating really goes down. The sleep, people will say that they like fall asleep and they like conk out. It's like the best sleep that they've gotten in years, and energy and creativity really increases. So it's all the good stuff.
Yes. So I'm so excited. You guys, you got to grab her 3-day gut reset. Hannah, thank you so much for being on the show with me. It's just awesome what you're giving to the world, and I love it.
Thank you so much. It was such a joy to be here. I could talk about this all day long. I just love it so much. It like bursts out of me.
I know, me too. It's so true. So you guys, stay tuned for the Master the Mind series, and there are some more life-changing interviews coming up for you guys. So we love you, and have a great day. Bye.
Bye.